You've got problems, I've got solutions. That's the deal today. We're going to talk about how to solve problems. As you're moving into your final projects in the next few weeks, you're going to be looking for a source of interpersonal, intercultural, small group conflict of some sort, and you're going to have to solve it using course terminology. So today we're going to go over the basics of how to solve a problem with hopes that you can implement that into solving conflict for your final projects due in the next couple weeks. And a lot of this goes along with what's written on the rubric, but I just wanted to go through this. I feel like when we have a discussion about it, it ends up going a little bit smoother than if we don't have the discussion. So here we go. The first step, figuring out what the problem is. You got to define the problem. So usually there's more than one issue going on in any conflict, on any problem you're having. You just need to figure out what the biggest issue is and how to solve it, and then you can kind of focus on some of the more minor issues. So we're going to use an example that I got back from when we used to do this kind of activity in person. I was like, hey guys, who's got problems? And everybody raised their hands. But someone shared one that was really relatable and something that we could do in the class in a reasonable amount of time without having to call in any professional help. So this example is you're having a manic Monday, all right? You need to get to class by 9:30 a.m. Hey, you signed up for these classes. I didn't sign up for these classes. It's currently 9 o'clock. You go out to start your car and it's dead. And you have to get to class. Skipping is not an option because there's a test today. Oh no, it's a midterm. So there's no one else at your house to give you a ride. The panic's starting to set in when your car won't start. And you live more than 5 miles away, so you can't just like jog to class, right? I don't know how fast you run, but Harkins could not get to class in 30 minutes on a 5 mile run, nor do I want to show up all sweaty, like with my book bag. No, that's a nope. So that's it, right? We define the problem. What's our biggest issue? Getting to class on time, right? We got to get to class. The car we can worry about later, but the most pressing thing is getting to class. So what do we do next? Our next step, it's going to be to identify some strategies that could potentially solve this issue that we're having. So this is our brainstorming session. What are we going to do? What are all the things we could think of? We could call a friend. We could call a rideshare service. Could ride your bike or a skateboard. Could probably cover some more ground, but I don't know if you've seen the roads around Germanna, like it's a little bit sketchy out there. I don't think I'd be wanting to be on a skateboard or a bicycle out there. You could take transit, call that old Fred bus. No, you can't just call the Fred bus, and I don't think it's going to get there in 30 minutes. No offense, Fred bus. Walk, we already kind of said that's out. Which of these is going to make the most sense? So next, we're going to take one or two of these strategies and we're going to like kind of figure out the pros and cons, right? So we're already like walking's out, transit's out, riding your bike or your skateboard's out. So that just leaves us two options, right? So steps 3 and 4, we're proposing our solutions. So step 3, which of these strategies make sense? We're going to identify those two. And 4, why are these the best choices? So out of all the strategies, we have these two proposed solutions. So the number 3 here is just for step 3 that we're like identifying these. So you call a friend. It's definitely going to be your cheaper option. You might be late and you have to wait for them to come over. Then you're kind of at their mercy for the rest of the day or getting a ride back. If you call a ride share, it's not very cheap, but this might be your best bet in terms of timeliness, right? We have to focus back onto that time part of the issue. So number 4 is why is this the best solution? You can get one immediately and make it to class on time, right? No brainer. It kind of looks like we're going to have to go with the ride share. So we're going to evaluate the impact of these strategies or these solutions. So if you have your friend, there's relatively no impact. Your friends love you, right? Hello. They don't mind doing a favor for you from time to time because you do the same for them. Whoa. However, your friend cannot get you to campus until 10 o'clock, which is 30 minutes after the test starts. So the ride share, it's relatively costly. Depending on where you live, it might run 30 to 50 bucks. And that might break into the budget you would need in order to fix your car. Though you could pick up an extra shift or two this weekend to help offset the cost. You know that you could work more this weekend, make a little more money. So this is your solution. You got to call the ride share. You better get on the phone now. Just kidding. I know it's an app. You're not calling anybody unless you want to call this taxi. Hey. All right. So step 6. These are our issues that are still present even after we've implemented our solution, right? We made it to class on time. We called the ride share. We took the test. We got 100%. You knew you would. I knew you would. So you need to get your car fixed, right? That's the idea with this tow truck, but hopefully you won't have to call a tow. So you're going to have to pay a little for the ride share, but you do have some time this weekend to work a shift to help pay for repairs. So that's part of the reflection on the problem solving process. Also, your friend, they didn't give you a lift to class, but they can still come over and give you a jump, maybe get the car started, and then maybe they can follow you to the mechanic, give you a ride home. So you can still utilize that friend, right? That solution is still viable, just in a different way here. This is honestly the best solution that we could come up with in a time constrained period, and it made the most sense to solve the biggest issue present. So keep all of this in mind as you're working towards your final presentations in the next week or two, and as you're creating your slides. Also, as part of the peer evaluation at the end, you will be reflecting on the problem solving process. So I want to see you guys doing all 6 steps. Steps 1 through 5 will take place in the presentation. Step 6 will take place on that problem solving form. And as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email and ask. That's what I'm here for.